بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome everybody. I'm very happy and glad to provide a presentation today about digital transformation, and also I'm going to show the latest trend in technology nowadays, and also the capabilities that we are developing at Prince Sultan University toward these innovative technologies, and how we are driving actually our research and our students in order to get in touch and familiar with digital transformation and innovative technologies. So what is digital transformation? Now we live in a world that is start to be completely digitalized, and we like technology is integrated in everything in our life nowadays. Okay, so from the audience, who can give me some examples of digital transformation or the benefits of digital transformation for our lives? So any of the examples? Yes? Smartphone, yeah. This is like the most typical application. It's changing our lives basically, and at the extent that we become a little bit addicted to smartphones, because actually all our life and everything is over there. Yes, what other things? So what is digital transformation and how it changes our life to the best? Any other examples?
Robots that are there.
Robots, yes.
Service robots.
Service robots, yes. For example, now we can have service robots that can do some tedious tasks, for example, that can replace humans in different areas, working areas, and can be operated in harsh environments. Yes. So other things?
E-classes, teaching and learning.
Yes, teaching and learning. How is that?
By e-classes.
E-classes, yes. Now we have e-learning technologies as well that are changing the way how we deliver the content of our teaching to the students and so on. So you can understand that life is actually changing, so everything becomes digitalized, and what is the objective is actually to make our life much simpler and much easier. Actually, now with the advances of many businesses and many technologies, things becomes more and more complex to manage. We have more and more data to manage, and this becomes actually very complex. So we need to use the technology in the proper way such that we can leverage this technology in order to improve the lifestyle and also the comfort of the living. So if you look at the internet and Google for what are the most or the major digital transformation trends in 2019, okay, you can find many, but basically there is a consensus or an agreement on 5 basic technologies. Okay, so the first one and probably the most popular is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence now is making a lot of changes. I'm going to show you a lot of examples on how artificial intelligence is actually making a revolution into this world and digital transformation. So do you have some examples of AI that now are being used? Yes. How AI is changing our lives? Siri, yes, the speech recognition. This is one of the applications, right? Yes.
Yeah, YouTube selections that they give you.
Yes. For example, now user preferences are automatically detected by machine learning techniques, so they can tell you what are your preferences and can propose you like videos to watch, or maybe if you want to buy from the internet, online shops and so on. Yes. So yes, another thing.
Language learning, Duolingo. It helps you to learn language.
Yes. So there are many different techniques applied for AI. I'm going to show you one of the latest trends. We have also data science. Data science is also now it has a lot of applications in data analytics, especially the amount of data that we can collect nowadays from the internet or from business processes or from manufacturing is very huge. So we need to have powerful tools in order to manage this data and take appropriate actions out of it. Security, of course, this is like the vertical technology that touches all the different sectors in any kind, because usually we have our data now exposed in the internet. So if we don't protect our data, it's going to be very dramatic, because actually some bad people and hackers can actually steal this data and can manipulate it in a very bad way. Blockchain, this is also another very popular technology that have changed the way on how to secure the digital world. So now we are changing from centralized approaches into completely decentralized approaches which are much more robust and much more difficult to hack. And of course, we have the Internet of Things. Like now, everything in our life is connected to the internet, and we can monitor and control every single process and every single thing in the environment. And I'm going now to go for the example. So let me start by artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is like, this is the big umbrella for AI, and it has different branches, and one of the most important ones is actually machine learning. Okay, so machine learning, this is the way how machine can actually learn and actually make use of the data provided to the machine in order to extract information and make appropriate action. And after this, with the emergence of neural networks, so now we talk about deep learning that is based on neural networks. So let's see some applications of deep learning. So this is, for example, a video that we have captured from Sultan University, and we have used deep learning techniques here in order to track and count the number of cars that can cross an intersection. Okay, so this is one of the useful applications for surveillance using drones and deep learning both together, and it has many different applications. So what's the main problem that we face here in Riyadh, especially in the morning when we want to go to work? Traffic jam, yes. So how can we solve traffic jam, for example, using AI?
Smart traffic.
We can use smart traffic, right? So now cars start to be connected to the internet, so we can collect data from the cars and then make use of it to know. Now, if you go, for example, on Google Map, Google can give you different paths, and it tells you this path, for example, has congestion or traffic jam, and the other path actually maybe it's longer, but it's actually better to follow. So now, all of this is based on the collection of data and making use of it. And there are different ways. So let me show you another example where we can use AI. For example, this is an intersection. We can use here AI to count the number, for example, of cars crossing an intersection. And now, for example, using this technology, we can have an estimation on the number of cars in any of the different four sides of the intersection. And based on this, we can develop intelligent algorithms to solve these problems. Okay, so it's completely dynamic. Every car has an own identifier. So it can help also in identifying some of the traffic violation, as you will see a little bit later. Okay, or so you can see this car, how it's moving very close to the intersection. So it can be used for surveillance, for monitoring, for counting the number of cars, and detecting whether this is a car, whether this is this track. So it can help into estimating the traffic into an intersection and the different types of vehicles that crosses the intersection. So you can see there is automatic counting here on the number of vehicles going through the part. Another important application for deep learning is semantic segmentation. So you can see now this is how the computer actually sees the environment. Okay, so as human beings, we are able, when we see a vehicle, we know this is a vehicle, this is a car, this is a pedestrian, this is a tree, okay? But now, this is something very difficult for the computer to know. Now, using deep learning techniques, using machine learning techniques, we are able to characterize everything in the environment. And this technology actually has led to what? Which popular technology now is coming more and more? Self-driving cars. Okay, yes, so this is actually the, let's say, the starting point for self-driving cars, because the most challenging thing is actually to how we can observe the environment, how we can interact with the environment, how we can understand what's in the environment. Now, using advanced techniques, I'm able to tell you automatically from a computer what is there, how many pedestrians, what is their locations. We can also read the traffic signs. Okay, and there is a big advancement now in the self-driving cars technology. So this particular technique is called semantic segmentation. So what does it mean? We have an image like this, and we are able to make the segmentation of the image. So we characterize what are the driving parts, what are the vehicles, what are the pedestrians, what are the trees, and so on. This is what we call segmentation. It's also possible to use semantic segmentation, for example, even to count people, okay, going through a certain area. So we can make a differentiation between people here using semantic segmentation as well. Okay, so a very popular now innovation is actually you are able to colorize videos. Okay, you remember the old black and white movies, and it's now possible actually to use convolutional neural network in order to change. So you can see here, this is the original image, and this is an auto-colorized image using generative adversarial networks. So here we can actually give better, for look at the sky here, it's a blue. However, in the original image, because of some, the calibration of the camera was not good, so it's not really blue like it should be. So now we can use actually techniques to make the colorization of videos, even if you remember the old cartoons. Now, for example, Mickey Mouse, you can see it, before we seeing it as black and white, and now we can see it colorized, because you can use artificial intelligence technique and you can have something similar to this one. It looks like some magic, but it's now reality. Okay, this is another example. So if you can tell me what is the original, what is the fake one?
They are original.
Yeah. Okay, it's difficult to actually yeah, this is a horse and a zebra. So one of them is fake, and the other is real. Yeah, because there is a little bit of color changes, right? But it looks like a reality. Okay. So, yeah. So, and you know, it has a lot of applications. It's not only this. Now you can, the advances of technology, you can take a low resolution movie and you can convert it to maybe 4K in the future. Now there are some works that allows you even to make improve the resolution of old videos. So maybe something that you have recorded quite a long time ago, it becomes very old, cannot see it very clearly. Now with the technology, you can see it maybe in 4K in the next couple of years. Okay, so what's the magic behind this technology, what we call deep learning, okay, or neural networks? So basically the mathematical concept is pretty much simple. Now, in technical words, it's something like optimization problem for this. So we can put some input. These are like numbers here. We have some numbers, okay? And these numbers, originally, they are random. So if we put a random number and we provide an input like a picture, the output is going to be random. So why we call it machine learning? So it's because we're going to send an image here until the last layer. Okay, and when it comes, we're going to see what is the output. If the output is wrong, we know that the values in these different circles are wrong. So there is a mathematical concept for optimization that will make tuning these values. So we do this like millions or billions of iterations until all the values here becomes pretty much well tuned, such that if I provide an input here, it's going to tell me what is the output with a very high accuracy. Now we are able actually to reach accuracy up to 99% for some cases. Of course, it may vary from the context to another, but actually we can reach very high, and it's used, for example, in many countries. Like for example, now in China, they have established an automatic surveillance system. If you go in any street in China, you are recorded, and they know you by name, you are in this place, and you are automatically recorded over there. They have millions of cameras spread in the whole China country, and they can tell everybody where he is at any time. So this is, so let me show you here. This is a demonstration. So you see what is this number? It's 3, right? So actually, this video I'm going to show you now, it's going to give you an intuition what's going to happen. So basically, this is an image, and the image is just squares, okay, that are called pixels, and every pixel will have some value, for example, here, either black or white. So when you see it from far, you can see that this is a 3. But how the computer is able to know? There are like thousands of pixels here. So what we're going to do, we're going to send these pixels into the neural network, okay? So as you can see, these are the different nodes I have shown you before. They are going to go through the network, and then at the end, you have at the end the estimated value, okay? So we're going to push all the pixels into this convolutional neural network, into this neural network, and at the end, we can have the estimation, the correct estimation of the value. So for example, one of the applications, you can write a number, a handwritten number, and then you can automatically convert this into a digital number using these kind of techniques. Okay, so now let's move to self-driving cars. Okay, I think now maybe in, I would say in 10 years, most of us will have their self-driving cars. They are starting to be commercialized. Now in the US, there are several self-driving cars now available. They have made like thousands and thousands of kilometers in a safe way. So let's imagine a little bit, what do we need to have a self-driving car? How a car can drive autonomously and safely?
Connect to a server, connect to something.
Not necessarily, it will have a server inside. Okay, so just think about yourself when you drive. Huh? Yeah. So imagine that you drive and you close your eyes. What's going to happen? Yes. You need camera, yes. So you need something that sees the environment. Okay? And look, this actually shows us the greatness of Allah, who gives us the sensors. Now, for example, with only our eyes, we are able to see and estimate the depth. You don't think about this, but actually, this is what we need to learn for the machine in order to be able to drive. It needs to see, but this is not sufficient. It needs also to estimate the distance, so it needs to have a depth. Now, the cameras that you take, they're insufficient because they give you only a 2D image. It doesn't give you the distance. So we need a lot of other sensors, okay, different sensors. Okay, and imagine now you are able to see in the front, okay, but what about the back? Okay, what about if you want to change the lane? Okay, so in this case, you need also to see in the left side, in the right side. You need to have a complete awareness of what's going around you. And this is very challenging. Okay, so I'm going to show you now, this is a self-driving car, okay, from Yandex. And before going to that. Okay, so you can see it has different sensors. These are LiDAR sensor, very expensive one. It can give you 360 degree around the car. Okay, and it has sensors all over the different corners in order to be able to drive, and you can see it's pretty much safe. It's possible even to go into intersections, roundabouts, U-turns in a complete safety. Okay, so at every second, there are millions of operations that are running, okay, taking all the sense of information, understand them, put them into a controller, and then you will send to the car two values: your speed and your direction. This is what you have to do, okay? So you can see now you have a complete, so it can understand the lanes, it can understand the objects in front, and there are different levels of autonomies. Now, for example, like luxury cars, like BMW and Mercedes and so on, they do have some kind of semi-autonomous self-driving capabilities. For example, they can tell you whether you are close to obstacles, whether you are taking your lane correctly or you are drifting off from your lane, and so on. So there are different levels of autonomies, but now we can reach up to 100% of autonomy level into the roads. Okay? But of course, this is in the perfect conditions, but this can happen as well. Okay? This can happen, as it can happen even with manual driving. It happened so many times also with self-driving. I think if you see this image, you're not going to rely on a machine anymore. Okay? But this is an accident that happens also in the US. And the problem now, it doesn't become technical. It becomes legal. Who is the responsible? Is it the driver? Is it the controller? Is it the manufacturer? Is all the body together? So for example, in this case of accident, now the manufacturer said that before 6 seconds, the driver was asked to take control, and he didn't do that. So who knows? Okay, there are now log files that maybe can tell you what happens till the end of until the crash has happened, but it's a big legal problem. Who will be responsible? Now, for example, if a car will hit a pedestrian or a motorcycle, who is going to be responsible for this? This is one of the handicaps now that are facing the public deployment of self-driving cars, although they were deployed in in cities and so on, but because a crash can happen in a second when you lose any information from a sensor. If you lose any information from the sensor, so the bad thing can happen. This is the challenging part. Okay, so there is still a lot of research that is being done around self-driving cars, but I think, as now we trust the plane, when we are, for example, 20 kilometers above the ground, we're going to trust one day the self-driving cars, whatever is going to happen. Yes, so this is, actually we have to live with the technology. Technology has some danger, but we have to live with it, because one day it's going to become part of our lives. Okay, so I will go now to the Internet of Things and smart city. This is also, and I talked a lot about AI, robots, self-driving cars, and so on, but the IoT is making a big revolution into the society, and now cities start to become more and more smarter. Okay, so why we want to use smart cities? What are the benefits of smart cities? Give me some.
Smart life,
Hmm?
easier,
Sorry?
smart living.
Yes, smart living, but what are the benefits?
Easier environment.
This is for environment monitoring, yes. Yeah.
You don't have to find.
By the way, this is one of the questions I gave to my CS 415 course, the Internet of Things course. Yes. And they had to repeat many times to get the correct answer.
Easier.
Sorry?
Life easier.
Yeah, making life easier. This is one of the things. Efficiency in many aspects, yes. So for example, one of the most important benefits of IoT is also energy efficiency. Energy is the most problematic thing nowadays. Okay? Last week I was in KAUST, and I attended the conference on IoT from several big international speakers. And let me say that 60% of the talks were about the energy problems. Okay? And most of the people now that work on the IoT, they try to minimize the energy consumption in any aspect, because it becomes scarce resources. Okay? And maybe if we continue our usage like this, maybe in a couple of years, we're not going to find electricity or fuel or something like this, and it's going to be very terrible to get backward. Okay, so you can see here there are several use cases where smart cities actually can be helpful. For example, we can have automatic lighting. Okay, so one of the things where we can optimize, for example, we don't need to put the light all the time on during the night, but only when we can detect some people who can go close to a certain place. So this is one of the usages now, smart metering applications. If you go to a place like here in the exhibition hall, the first thing you think about, okay, where I can find my parking, a parking place. Okay, so smart parking, now there are solutions for smart parking, and in the PSU we have already implemented small prototype for this as well. You have also, in the future, maybe we're going to have electrical vehicles, and you want to find some kind of place to charge your vehicle. So IoT can tell you what are the different spots available in the city or the closest one. Okay, also, for example, for people who have special needs, they can actually cross the street with a big safety if we actually coordinate their motion. You can also try to coordinate the waste management. Now, the waste management, this is actually a very important application. We can think that it's simple, but it's not. Now imagine the municipality has to go take the waste every time from thousands of junk areas. Now if they have to go every time from the same places, they're going to lose time, they're going to spend fuel, and maybe they go to places where it's still not completely full. So now there are IoT solutions that can put some sensors into the junks, so to tell you what is the level of occupancy. And in this case, you can optimize your route. So you're going to save time, fuel, energy, and many other things, and money as well. Okay, so future city, we're going to have self-driving cars, we're going to have connected cars. Okay, traffic is going to be much more fluent and smooth, and the communication between the different things in the city is going to be more automated. Another application also for smart city is augmented reality. What is augmented reality and how can you use it? Have you heard about augmented reality? Yes?
the virtual element in the real picture?
Yes. So now, for example, there are some applications, maybe in Google and so on. You can just show a video to your mobile phone and it will tell you what's there. It can tell you there is a restaurant there, or there is a railway station, or there is an airport, or anything. So you can have information right away from a video, because using your GPS location and information coming from the image, it's possible to determine what's going on. So this is actually one of the applications for smart cities is augmented reality. For example, you can see there are some places for waste or renting cars or electricity and so on. So let me show you also an interesting application of smart homes. Imagine that you can control your home with your mobile phone. Okay, so let me. So it says, what is the status of the garage side door? And it tells you automatically that it is closed, it is locked. So now it's going to tell, open the garage side. Okay, it's closed now.
Okay, show it again that it's locked. Unlock a garage side door.
Unlock the garage side door. Okay, as simple as this. It's very simple. And you can control the whole house just using a mobile phone. But probably it can be terrible if you lose it. Okay, so. Yeah, it has voice recognition, of course. It's connected to a cloud where you have all the information about the sensor coming there. So you can do this also to, for example, start the television. It's the same principle as well. You can do that, for example, to know what is the temperature of your house. For example, starting the air conditioner or closing the air conditioner. You can control everything just by voice. It's like you are talking to a person. And this is an example of a smart home. Now it becomes a reality. I mean, there are technologies that if you just buy them and plug them into your house, you are able to control everything automatically. Especially now, smart lights, smart switches. You can control the whole light of your home remotely through the internet, switching on, switching off, or scheduling when it should be switched on and off automatically. Okay, so this is another for the temperature as well. It says 72, and it's indeed 72, yes. Okay, as in the sensor here. So another important application is also the smart health. Okay, smart health application is very important. And you know, for example, in some far and rural regions, it's very difficult to move and go to hospitals. Now with the technology, with IoT, we can do remote, consultation outside. Okay, and this is our operation. I remember like a few months ago, I had some people coming to the lab, and they have a system for making a remote consultation for people who have stuttering problems. Okay, because this specialty does not exist in the whole Saudi Arabia, so they have to come from far locations. So what they did, they have developed a system such that the patient can send video of his practicing and can make the consultation remotely, and it's pretty much successful system. Another also important application, especially here in Saudi Arabia, is for crowd management. Okay, so now we can use drone in order to improving the safety and security of pilgrims, and monitoring from above. Also, we can estimate the density of the crowd automatically. Now there are computer vision techniques that tells you about the density of the crowd and can help the civil defense to anticipate whether some problems can occur in one of the possible places in the holy places there, regions. Okay. We can also have fun with the drones, you know. We can make delivery. Okay, I think everybody like pizza. Okay, and I think it becomes more tasty when it's delivered by a drone. So it's not science fiction nowadays, it becomes something reality. Okay, Domino's actually have tried its first prototype to deliver pizza using a drone. Okay, it's, yeah, so it can go very fast, and this is very convenient for avoiding traffic jams, delays, okay, because usually you want to eat the pizza hot and not after 10 or 15 minutes, okay, during transportation. So you can see it becomes pretty much, yeah. So in 2-3 minutes you can get it from the restaurant directly, you know. It's pretty much amazing. Okay. Yeah, and there are different attempts, not even by, there is also DHL and Amazon. It looks tasty when delivered by the drone. Yeah, even DHL, Amazon, and different courier services have already deployed drones for delivering couriers, but into a confined small regions.
It will be much tastier, but it will be prepared by a robot. So
Yeah. It can be fully automated, right? Yes.
This is in Greece, isn't it? Yeah.
This is, I think, in Russia, yeah, or in Greece, yes. I think in Greece, yes. It looks more than the Greece style, right? Okay, drones also can be very helpful in firefighting. Okay, so this is a prototype of drone, and it can help going into dangerous places instead of sending the firefighters and injecting waters from different places. And this is made by a Latvian company. But you may say, okay, this is a prototype, but maybe we don't see this in reality. But in China, they have already deployed this with real fires. So this is actually in China, okay? They have used drones for real fires, okay, for fire extinction. Yes. So it's much faster than, for example, bringing like these big tanks of firefighters and until they go and so on. So it's pretty much good. Okay, what we can do also with drones in the context of smart cities is actually we can build high resolution maps. And this is a famous area that is called photogrammetry and 3D mapping. And we've done this into Prince Sultan University. So you can see we have high resolution 3D map for the whole campus. And basically this was obtained by collecting 300 pictures automatically collected by a drone. Okay, and then we can have this map. It can help, for example, for identifying the areas clearly. Okay, we can have also the 2D map, which is very high resolution. So you can, it has a resolution of 2 centimeters per pixel. So really quite high. And it can be used, for example, post-disaster response. In areas, for example, like using floods and so on, we can use drones in order to reconstruct the whole area. And then we can identify what are the losses that were happening and how actually to send rescuers in order to help people with need. Okay, so it can be used also for fire, it can be used for floods or for different applications. And this is a very hot topic, by the way. I have reviewed a recent project from the Netherlands. And the purpose of the project is to use drones for fire disaster management. And one of the applications is actually they want to monitor the CO2 emission after the fire. Because some places maybe they have high CO2 level, so they become very dangerous, even for firefighters to go inside. So this is one of the applications of drones, is to detect the gas, okay, in the area. Okay, so now cybersecurity is also a big problem that is transversal in the different IT areas. Okay, and cybersecurity is actually, so as you already know, some people can just try to take your data and make bad use of it. So there is a very big need to secure the data, and this is actually a big challenge from the first day where we have internet started and we have digital world that have started. Okay, so there are now many techniques. We need to secure our systems. For example, all the communication must be authenticated. It means we can only allow authenticated people to access particular information. We need also to protect our data by using encryption. So our data must be encrypted, and we have to use strong encryption techniques so that the hackers are not able to hack and to identify the original message. We have also to make sure about the integrity of our message. Because, for example, someone can steal your information, make change to it, and resend it again. So it's like you have sent a different information from what you have sent that before. So this is what we call the integrity of information. So there are different challenges that we have to take into account. And one of the innovative solutions is blockchain. So blockchain, basically, the idea of blockchain is to move from a centralized approach of security into a fully decentralized approach. So for example, well, it is basically used for Bitcoin. Everybody knows about Bitcoins. It's a new way now to exchange money, okay? And originally, actually, people exchange money like using paper. We can't trust paper. If I give you a piece of money, you can't trust it. But if I send you an email, I tell you this is $10, I'm not going to trust it. Okay, this is something fake. But actually, with blockchain now, we are able to secure transactions like we do when we transfer from ATM machine or from the internet. But the only difference is that in previous systems, okay, so in previous systems, all the transactions must go through the bank, that is the central server, and the banks will take a fee. In 2014, it was estimated that the fees taken by the bank worldwide is $1.7 trillion just to process the transaction. So you can, and it is said to be 2% of the total economy in the world. So it's big money. So we can, the idea of blockchain is to reduce this amount of money that is paid for the banks. Instead of going to the banks, in this case, it's possible to secure your transaction in a completely distributed fashion. And it's even harder to hack than the centralized techniques. Okay, now I have presented you artificial intelligence, drones, IoT, cybersecurity, blockchain. So this has a relation with PSU. Actually, in PSU, we are working on these different technologies. We have core labs of research, and every lab is specialized in these specific like hot trends in digital transformation for now. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the different research labs of PSU for those who are outside PSU. So we have the Robotics and Internet of Things lab. This is the lab that I am leading in Prince Sultan University. And actually, this is a good opportunity, not because the rector is here, but this is an opportunity for me to really acknowledge the strong support of the university in providing us this huge support that allow us actually to drive our research in all these facilities and all this luxury. So now we have the Robotics and Internet of Things lab. We work on deep learning areas, we work on robotics, we work also on Internet of Things. We have collaboration with different companies. I can name Ilm Company, which is the biggest IT company that is making government projects. We have also collaboration with Mashistalk, another big company in Internet of Things. We give external consultancy, we give consultancy to external companies, Gateway company in China. We provide them consultancy for building robots, for developing software for robots. And now we start even to have some new companies that would like to enter the drone business. They are coming to us in order to help them getting into the market. Just yesterday, I got STC coming for discussing possible collaboration to work on how to use drones for smart cities applications like we are actually have introduced over here now. So we have opportunities in the Robotics and Internet of Things lab for postdocs, for research professors, for internships, PhD internships. So if you're doing PhD and you work in any of these areas and you have motivation to work on this, so probably you can contact us in order to be integrated into the activities of the lab. We have also the Cybersecurity lab that is led by Dr. Iman and Dr. Iman Al-Mumani and Dr. Mamdouh Lanizi. It was inaugurated also recently, and they are working on addressing the challenges to cybersecurity attacks, and they have a very good team that works on these areas. We have also another lab that is called Blockchain and Data Science for Professor Muhammad Al-Afandi, and he is working on different areas like natural language processing and broad areas around data science and machine learning as well. We do have also another group for Dr. Tanzila Saba. It's about also data engineering lab, which is around machine learning for healthcare and for different other applications. So that's the end of my presentation. I thank you very much for being here and for being attentive to the presentation. And thank you. Yes, sure.
It will work?
Yes. Yes.
It will work.
Don't leave.
Yes.
Can we like paste the
Okay.
link?
Okay. Can you bring your laptop? I think it's
Yeah,
easier. Okay, it's easier.
No Q&A?
Yes.
No Q&A?
Thank you very much. Yes, if there is, yeah, of course.
Just
yes.
before the question, may I ask you please to fill up this form and hand it to us? There's by the end Brian and Victor. Can you stand up, please? Could you please just fill up this and hand it to them at the end?
You can prepare because
And
when they are
we'll
doing
draw.
the
Everyone has
questions.
his number.
You can
Collect
prepare
the
yourself
number,
when they are
so
doing the
we'll
questions.
make the draw in a few minutes.
Okay, is there any question? I would be happy to address your question or any comment from the audience. Yes?
What about education? What is new in education?
What's the new in education?
Yeah.
So there are different technologies used in education, and one of my favorite tools is the massive online courses platforms, what we call the MOOC. Okay, so now there are different online platforms that provide high quality courses from different high universities. I think this is something pretty much prestigious for keeping the personal development, or for some people that would like to be up to date with the technology. Okay, so I can give, for example, Udemy or Coursera or Udacity. They have different teaching strategies and teaching models, but they provide high quality courses that I think they are very valuable.
Do you expect any smart education in the future?
Yes, I think now
Blended learning.
blended learning, yes, is going to come using the remote classes. So maybe in the future, students do not need to come to classroom in order to learn. They can do this remotely, and it's actually started. And by the way, Google now started to hire people without even a degree. If they have the necessary skills that they can get maybe from the internet, from whatever, they can get hired from Google and from big companies like Amazon, Facebook, and so on. Because what matters now, it's not your degree only, it's your skills. And this is why my students, every time they ask me, okay, doctor, should I go to this specialization or to the other specialization? What I respond to them, go to the specialization where you can excel, where you have the best skills, because this is what is going to matter for the business and for the recruitment. It's your skills, not your specialization. Yes. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Yes.
A question. Like I have my master's in instruction and technology, but I have an interest in augmented reality and virtual reality. What kind of advice would you give me to pursue a lot of the material that you've already presented to me?
For virtual reality?
Virtual reality, augmented, Internet of Things, those.
Yes, there are different ways. I mean, you can go from, for example, the perspective from Internet of Things and try to provide some additional information to anything coming from the environment. You can also use haptics. Now there are haptics that are sensors that we can put into the body and can provide you an interactive way, okay, on with the environment. So there are different actually fields for the virtual reality. Yes. Yes. Sure. Any other question? Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Anis, for a very informative presentation. We just wanted to know that as a matter of social responsibility, especially we have so many research labs, PSU, that what initiatives can be taken by the developers to bring, to create awareness to the society about the other implications of using this digital transformation, especially when we are talking about the kids, they're using all this technology, or the families who are quite novice, they don't know about the implication of we always get to know about the fancy things about this technology. Yes. But I think as a matter of social responsibility, this is also a very important initiative should be taken by these research labs to bring awareness that how it is impacting the health and other ethical implications.
Yeah,
what initiatives can be taken by
this is a very important question. I think everybody at home is suffering from the same thing, especially with the kids and the use of the technology. And because now the technology, we are not exploiting the technology. Technology is exploiting us, and we become very much addicted to it. And this is actually, yes, a big problem, because the technology is not something outside from our environment or our life. It becomes something completely integrated. So now if you say, I want to live one day without my mobile phone, I think it's like you say, I would like to live without oxygen. So it's really very, very challenging. And of course, you know, for the kids, we need to do awareness about the danger of technology. We need also to be a little bit attentive of what they are doing, what they are watching, and try to guide them that they have to reduce also the time that they spend on these smart devices, because I think it's dangerous in different means. Okay, some people also can suffer from psychological problems because of being too much close to this technology, and they are at the end not able to live with the others because they live in their own society very close. And even some of the dangerous games can lead people even to kill themselves. I think you have heard about some of these dangerous games that lead to some people, yes, misuse them and even kill others or kill themselves. So yes, I totally agree that this is very important.
Actually, why I'm asking this question, there are some associations which have been initiated by like Microsoft and Google, like Green Grid. They are actually working on the sustainability and like that. So maybe that can be like a partnership with these
Sure, yes.
organizations,
Yes.
so that we can
Yes.
also try to help the society.
I agree on this. Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
you're right. Thank you very much. Yes.